All right, classmates, I want to talk to you today about marketing. So my first question to you guys is, what is marketing? What do you guys think marketing is? Well, marketing is the management process through which goods and services move from concept to customer. So it includes the coordination of four elements. Those are called the four P's. Now, the four P's that we're talking about: identification, selection, and development of a product, determination of its price, selection of a distribution channel to read the customer's place, and development and implementation of a promotional strategy. So those are the four P's in marketing. So marketing is everything you do to place your product or your service in the hands of your potential customers. So it's all those efforts that go into getting your product or your service into the hands of the people that you've identified that need those products or services. Now, the market research process includes various steps. So first of all, we want to define the problem. Marketing is in its most basic component is identifying a customer's need or problem and aiming to solve that problem through your service or your good. So we want to define the problem or the need. We want to collect and examine secondary data. We then want to generate the required primary data. Then we want to analyze the data towards developing recommendations, and then finally we want to implement our strategy that we've come up with through this market research process. Now, a huge thing in marketing is value proposition. So, what is value proposition? Essentially, value proposition is you have motivation on this end, and the motivation is composed of two key factors. So your customers are going to look at whether or not they're going to be motivated to buy is going to be based on their perceived benefits of your product or your service, and their perceived cost of our products or your service. So if the perceived benefits are going to outweigh the perceived cost, then there's going to be motivation there to buy that product. So value proposition also explains how your product is going to solve customers' needs or problems or improve their situation on a whole. Why are potential customers going to buy something if it's not going to solve an issue or a need that they have? Deliver specific benefits. So we want to ensure that we're exuding the notion that we're going to deliver specific benefits to you if you were to buy our product or our service as a marketing professional, that is. And it tells the ideal customer why they should buy from us or buy from you and not the competition. That's the big thing in marketing. There wouldn't be a marketing sector if there was no competition. We need to differentiate ourselves from the competition. So we need to outline why our potential customers should buy from us and not from the competition. So I want to go through and ask if you guys have any examples as to companies and their value proposition. Okay, so some ideas I came up with. Beer. What's the value proposition for Coors? Is it that it's brewed cold, it's filtered cold, it's fermented cold, made with Rocky Mountain water? That might be it. iPhone versus the Android. What's the value proposition for the iPhone, for Apple? I would say that they're going to provide a superior product. They're high on innovation. That's their essential message. Versus Android or Samsung. What's the value proposition for Samsung? Samsung these days is trying to compete with Apple through their increased and better phone capacity and their phone technologies. That's the value proposition that they're providing their target market. Yeti coolers versus Coleman coolers. What's the value proposition for Yeti? Hey, Yeti says that it's going to keep your ice. It's going to keep your whatever's in the cooler cold. It's going to retain that ice far greater and in a longer period of time than a regular Coleman cooler. Those are just some examples of value proposition. And as a marketing professional, the key is creating that value proposition that tells the ideal customer why they should buy from you and not from your competition. Okay, so moving on now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about market segmentation. So market segmentation is a huge and critical factor in the marketing industry. So market segmentation is the identification of portions of the market that are different from one another. And it allows firms to better satisfy the needs of its potential customers through identifying those customers that would be interested in their product. So mass marketing versus target marketing, it's essentially pretty straightforward. Mass marketing is a company that has no guidance, no criteria for who they want to market their product or service to. They're trying to gear towards every potential customer out there, and in a mass marketing role, they're just trying to get it out there in mass, obviously. Target markets are when customers or companies identify a target customer for their marketing to target. So, for example, you're not going to want to target, people under the age of 21 for beer marketing or for advertising your beer or alcohol products. So target marketing is essential by identifying those key target markets that you can then expose as potential customers for you as a firm. So basis for segmentation, you have geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioralistic. Geographic, location, continent, state, neighborhood. You can keep whittling it down. For example, you're not going to want to market your new and improved umbrella to Arizona that has an annual rainfall of less than an inch. That's not smart. Demographic, that's looking at age, race, socioeconomic, income, profession. Psychographic, how do people perceive this product? What are their values, their goals? And behavioralistic, how purchase power, how often are they going to be looking to purchase this product? Things like that. So market segmentation is critical to, again, going back, being able to deliver that value to the customer and ensuring they're going to buy from you and not from the competition. All right, so market potential. Market potential, it's answering the simple question, is there a market? Okay, so it's identifying the number of potential buyers. It's looking across the market and across the competition and identifying an average selling price for a good or service that is comparable to yours. And it's going to estimate the usage of that product within your target market. So there's a mathematical formula for helping marketers and marketing professionals identify their market potential. So this is the formula. N is the number of potential customers that you are gaining through segmentation, through the exercise of market segmentation. MS is the market share, or the percentage of customers that are buying from you as compared to your competition. P is the average selling price that you've identified, and the last variable, Q, is the average annual consumption. So for beer, how much is a 21-year-old male in Colorado, how much beer are they buying per year? For example. So that's a quick run through. I'm sure in your marketing classes you've gone in a lot more in depth as to actually going through examples. I didn't want to bore you guys with that, but that is the tool for which marketing professionals identify the market potential for their market, for their product or their service. All right, so lastly, I want to touch on Market Development Index with you guys, MDI. This is another critical metric that marketing professionals use. So MDI is used to understand the evolution of a market and to measure the market's potential for future growth. So marketing professionals say they have identified that they have established and marketed to an already established market for their good or their service. Now they want to dig a little deeper and identify what's the potential future market for this growth. Is it on the downward trajectory, or is it on the upward trajectory? Is this market growing? Is this something we need to consider in production capacity, things like that? So this is a key metric. And it's essentially the ratio of current market demand over market potential times 100. And it's gonna spit out a value for you to identify whether this market needs additional development, whether there's potential there, but it's not quite there yet for growth, or whether this market is showing potential for significant growth moving forward. So what are some factors that could limit the full market development of a product? I just want you guys to think about that and see if you can come up with a few examples of why the product or the market is not fully saturated. Okay, so I've come up with some examples for you guys on why full market development has not been reached. It's attainable, but it's difficult. Some examples. Maybe the product's not affordable to your target market or your market segment. You might have to re-identify a new market or market in areas that with demographics that can afford your product. There might be a lack of benefits. There's not a value proposition for the customer. The customer doesn't identify this product or service as providing them with a benefit. That's a big one at why companies aren't able to achieve full market potential. Unable to use, maybe again, going back to the Arizona umbrella example, you're not, citizens in Arizona with an annual rainfall of less than an inch don't have the use for an umbrella. It could be as simple as that. It might not be available in certain markets. So say you're really targeting Arizona to sell your umbrellas, but you haven't targeted Seattle, and and you're not selling your products in Seattle, your umbrellas. So it might not be available. That's a key identifier that you need to start targeting the Seattle market and make that product available to those customers. Lastly, customers simply might not be aware of the product, aware of its availability. They might not be aware of the benefits that product could bring them because they simply don't know about the product. So these are some examples of factors that limit full saturation in a market. And I just wanted to give you a quick overview of marketing and some key takeaway points that you guys can use in your future endeavors to make an impact in your future companies, whether or not you're specialized in marketing within this program. I think marketing as a whole is critical to have a fundamental knowledge of, because it can really, going back to value proposition, it can really bring you added value for potential employers moving forward. So guys, it's been a real pleasure working with you throughout this term. Congratulations to everyone that's graduating. I myself am graduating this week. I'm done as of this weekend. So it's been a real pleasure. I hope you guys have gotten as much out of this program as I have, and I look forward to seeing the impacts that Regis graduates can have in the workplace moving forward. Appreciate your time. Thanks again. Have a good one.